Hello, you're with Kathy, the Arty Mummy, and here I am again, playing some catch-up with the Lorna Scobie 365 Days of Art. And of course, as soon as I start filming, there's suddenly cars on the road. But now I was thinking just before that I probably should point out, I think that Lorna's been really quite clever in the creation of this book, in that there is a point to every page, as far as I can see so far, that even when there doesn't seem to be a lesson in it, there actually is. For example, this one says simply complete the pattern. So our task is to look at these Let's see if this other card doesn't work a bit better. Look at these patterns and see if we can replicate the pattern. And I'm just going to make that kind of matching colour a little bit better. So the lesson is actually on seeing and practicing spatial recognition, I suppose you could say, to look and see negative space and size and shape, and be able to do that without measuring. And I'm afraid I'm not very good at explaining myself sometimes. To be able to see what you're drawing, like really see it, and judge spatial differences and what shapes really are saying. See, I've made that circle a bit smaller than the ones in the rest of the pattern. So if I was trying to, for example, paint a portrait, I would have to adjust that shape that I've just made, because it's not going to be the right size, therefore not the right proportion, and then my painting's going to be off in some way. So the more you can practice that skill of seeing and correctly judging space in your artwork, the better you're going to be at drawing and painting and getting likenesses, whether it be the shapes you see in a particular type of tree, or in the planes of a person's face, or in an animal that you're trying to get the proportions correct of. Because if you don't, it's not going to look like that particular animal sometimes. So having that having the practice of judging with your eye can be a very, very useful skill to develop. And even though this seems like a very simple task, if you're careful about it and really think about what you're doing, like I said, you can greatly improve your art by training your eye to see more accurately. And you can see I'm way off with the orange ones for some reason. So maybe that's something else to think about, is how does our perception of something change with colour? For example, we know that more muted colours and darker colours will push back and look further away, and even smaller sometimes. And lighter, brighter colours will often look like they're coming forward at us, and sometimes look larger than life, and they can trick our eye into seeing something that's not really there, or not seeing something that is there. So it's little things like that that are really good to be aware of when you're doing your art practice. Because if you saw my last video, you'll see that, as I was saying, paint, don't think. Because we've learned our lessons in just wait for that car to go past. We've learned our lessons in art theory, and we've got those well ingrained in our brain through practice. And if you are maybe not quite as far along your art journey, you might be still in a bit more of the practice phase, and just getting those little things sort of ingrained into the psyche, like I said, can very much improve. Let's see if I can get one right. Oh, I think I've gone too close now. Maybe if I go inside. Yes. And is that better? I don't know. Probably not. It's a bit uneven. You know, those months and years and days and weeks of practice that I would have mentioned, you might not be there yet. So wherever you are on your artistic journey, it never hurts to sometimes take the time to do some focused practice. Oh gosh, I think I might have started filming at the beginning of a change of shift at one of the workplaces local. It seems to be traffic all of a sudden, and there wasn't before. So, oh, it's all very quiet. Might be a good time to get my pens out and do this little pattern. So I'm aware that my colours aren't quite matching with the original ones, but that's okay. Let's try doing an outer circle first and see if that helps. Sometimes a little change of tactic as well can help you to see things better. A wonderful exercise that I did when I was only, I think I was about 19. I did a drawing class, and we were given two drawings. One was I think think it's actually a probably a famous painting from somewhere of a man sitting on a chair. If you know who painted it or drew it, please enlighten me, because I actually now barely remember the painting except that it was a line drawing of a man sitting on a chair. Quite sort of complicated but simplified at the same time. And the other one was the very famous Andy Warhol negative image of Marilyn Monroe. I've seen printed on t-shirts and all sorts of things over the years. And the task was to draw them upside down, so to place your reference image upside down and draw the entire picture upside down, which actually forced the brain to work on the right side, I think it was. So you're forced to use the opposite side of your brain that you normally do for creativity, and forced to look at negative space a lot more to make sure that you had your proportions right. And that helps with the idea of drawing what you see, not what you think you see. Another little fine piece of wisdom. I think I'm getting very off with this pattern. Never mind, we're getting there. Talking too much. But I like talking to you guys. So I'm getting over my stage fright. I think getting a bit more chatty. Because I do have a terrible fear of any kind of public speaking. But the lovely thing about YouTube is that I get to just sit by myself and basically talk to myself like a crazy person. But in reality, I'm talking to all you wonderful, wonderful, beautiful people who watch my videos. And I do think you're all wonderful and beautiful, and you all keep me motivated with your lovely comments and little insights and beautiful things that you say. So we've got one more row, I think. So that's a really neat little exercise that anyone can do at any time. Oh, here's a bit bigger. That can really improve your drawing, is to get any line drawing. Let's be lazy and go to this one while I've got the blue. And put it upside down, and put your piece of paper next to it, and get your pencils out and have a go at drawing it upside down. And like I said, it really forces you to draw what you see, not what you think you see. Because a chair is no longer a chair, it's a series of vertical and horizontal lines that really don't make much sense to your brain. And the shoe is no longer a shoe, and the face is no longer a face. That's really quite an interesting exercise to do, in how it changes the way that you think about drawing. And I'm one of those that does believe that drawing is a very important skill if you want to paint well. Oh. Off the bottom of the page there with my hand, and as a result a really big circle. We won't lean on the paper this time, and there we go, that's better. So my pattern isn't wonderful. It's definitely hand drawn though. And if this was a painting, I probably wouldn't want it to be all perfectly the same. I think it's probably more interesting this way, but I'm still going to be a little bit hard on myself because I believe this little exercise is about seeing spatial similarities and differences, and I think I've had a little bit of a fail here, but it is late at night and I have really enjoyed this little exercise, so that's the main thing really. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Good night for now.